Good evening, everyone, and happy Hanukkah. Please take your seats. They have one or two technical things to work back there. We'll be starting the program in exactly 2 minutes. And welcome. I want to greet all the thousands of brave souls who didn't look at the weather report when they planned to be here and then ignored the actual weather when they took the trip over and joined us for this lighting ceremony of the National Chanukah Menorah here on the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. My name is Rabbi Levi Shem Tov. I'm the Executive Vice President of American Friends of Lubavitch, the sponsoring organization of this event. We're delighted, of course, thank you. We're delighted, of course, to have the opportunity to celebrate Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, which marks our religious freedom here on America's front lawn. But this is a privately sponsored event. We are going to condense the program some because of the inclement weather, but we are going to take care of all of the major components. And we have our special guest that all the kids are waiting for, warming up in the tent for a moment. But this event might be the most prominent of the Hanukkah events here in the United States, or indeed around the world, but it's not the only one by any measure. The Chabad Lubavitch movement is now active in all 50 states and in over 100 countries, sponsoring some 14,200 Hanukkah events, large and small. And I just got an email last night from our newest colleague in South Dakota who's sponsoring a menorah lighting at Mount Rushmore, which I thought would be interesting to note. So, we have a lot to do. We have a condensed amount of time to do it in, and we're going to get straight to it. To welcome us This year, to our celebration, is the United States Air Force Band, led by First Lieutenant Philip Emery. We're grateful for the Military District of Washington for giving support to this event every year. Ladies and gentlemen, to welcome us to this event, United States Air Force Band, led by First Lieutenant Philip Emery. Give him a round of applause. That was wonderful. I know it's cold. We're all bundled up. But the warmth of this celebration that we feel as Jews, as Americans, has a very historical message to us, and one that is indeed very powerful. We're going to hear some good words about those themes as the program proceeds. But for now, we have an annual treat, which is a visit by a good friend. Anybody have an idea who that might be? I think I heard somebody say their name starts with a D. You know, I say it every year, and he comes out when he hears his name yelled really loud. He can't hear from here. 1, 2, 3, what's his name? I think he heard us, and he's about to come out here. That's it. The Air Force Band is welcoming him, and it looks like he's coming. Here he is, Dreidel Man. Let's hear it for Dreidel Man.
Has a lovely body whose legs so short and thin, and when it is all tired, it drops and then I win. Oh, Dreidel, 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 with legs so short and thin. Oh, Dreidel, 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 it drops and then I win. My Dreidel goes with playful, loves to dance and sing. A happy game of Dreidel, come play now, let's begin. Oh, Dreidel, 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 he loves to dance and sing. Oh, Dreidel, 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 come play now, let's begin. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, ועל הגבולות ועל התשובות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאויבינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבולות ועל התשובות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאויבינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבולות ועל התשובות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבולות ועל התשובות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבולות ועל התשובות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאויבינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הפורקן ועל הגבולות ועל התשובות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאויבינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. בימים ההם בזמן הזה. בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. The three cantors, Cantor Jeff Dreidel, the musical director, Cantor Yankee Lemmer, and Cantor Yaakov Motzen. Thank you so much. Now, you know that every year we sponsor the Rabbi Mendy Deren Memorial National Menorah Essay Contest to honor the memory of Rabbi Mendy Deren, who used to work with us at American Friends of Lubavitch, Chabad, and this was actually his favorite event of the year. So to do that, we put out a contest across the country, and we have two of the national winners here with us, one who actually flew in from the other coast, from the West Coast, and I wonder how they feel here in the winter. But first we're going to hear from somebody a little closer to home. Mushka Landa is a student at the Southern Connecticut Hebrew Academy in Fairfield, Connecticut, and we'd like to welcome her to the stage to read her winning essay.
What Hanukkah means to me. As I stand by the menorah, poised to light the candles, I think about what Hanukkah means to me. Hanukkah means going out of your comfort zone and trying your hardest, just like the Maccabees did in the Hanukkah story. Hanukkah also means staying loyal to our religion and believing in God no matter what comes our way, and going beyond all boundaries to fulfill what we need so that we can continue staying firm in our beliefs. We shouldn't just give up at the first hardship that comes our way. Even when some people might start to abandon their faith, that doesn't mean we should too. Hanukkah means spreading all our knowledge to others, so they as well can partake in sharing the greatness of God to even more people. Hanukkah is a time to spend with family and friends as we rejoice over the miracles God performs for us, so that we can celebrate together as a community. As we publicize the wonders, we can become modern-day Maccabees. Hanukkah has a special significance in my life. I try to utilize all of my power to influence those around me, so others will also stay faithful to God no matter what, and share the festivities of Hanukkah with me.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Mushka, that was really, really wonderful, especially in the cold weather. And you know how it is when children have to get up in public. Our next essay contest winner is Elias Greenwood. Elias Greenwood from the Hebrew Academy of Orange County, California. For all of those of you who are watching, you should all be proud of yourselves that we had to go all the way to the West Coast to get our winner, but here he is, and he's going to read his winning essay.
what Hanukkah means to me. What does Hanukkah mean to me? Sure, on the surface I can spend time with my family and get presents and play games. Hanukkah, like the onions my mom uses for latkes, has more layers than just having fun. Hanukkah has layers of stories untold. During Hanukkah, we can connect not just our families, but our Jewish souls and Jewish communities. Hanukkah has a lot of different symbols: latkes, jelly donuts, time off from school, food like cookies, and for some families, presents. Is that what Hanukkah is all about? Presents and donuts? No. Hanukkah is about connecting with our Judaism and our ancestors. We can connect through our stories and our celebration of Hanukkah. Through lighting the menorah, other customs for Hanukkah, by getting together with family and friends, we can be transported to times in the past when past generations celebrated Hanukkah the same way we are in 2017. One part of the Hanukkah history that I was taught, and has stayed with me through the years, is that Jews said to hide that they were Jewish, and they hid our Torahs from the Greek soldiers. When I think of a small group of Jewish Maccabees fighting a large Greek army, it reminds me that it does not matter what I face in my life, no matter how big I think the problem. By facing big problems, even as a smaller person, if I focus on my faith and strength, I can be successful. We also learn as Jews that our faith sometimes means that we have to sacrifice for being Jewish. For me, this means I do not worry about not celebrating other holidays or missing out. My grandmother, my Bubby, grew up during World War II and did not celebrate Hanukkah and freedom. Another example, Shimon, one of the Maccabees, sacrificed his life for the Jewish people. It is an important Hanukkah message to remember to be proud of being Jewish and able to find meaning within our history. I feel so proud for my grandmother to be able to celebrate Hanukkah and freedom in the United States and see so many children enjoy a holiday she can never celebrate growing up in Europe. Many people had to go without and sacrifice their loved ones so that I can celebrate freedom as a Jewish American young man. I wish you and your loved ones a meaningful and happy Hanukkah.
Thank you very, very much. That was wonderful. Nice and brave. We appreciate you and your folks flying in all the way from California to be here with us and to help celebrate Hanukkah in such a wonderful way. Now, I know we're all very proud of the menorah that stands behind us, and as a matter of fact, it's been lit 38 times before. This is the 39th actual lighting of the National Chanukah Menorah, and it started in 1978 when Stuart Eisenstadt, who's here with us tonight, went and made sure that a permit was approved for a menorah to be put in Lafayette Park on the other side of the White House, and it has since been moved here to become part of the national celebration and to accommodate the ever-growing crowd. As a matter of fact, if you wouldn't mind taking a moment to recognize Stuart Eisenstadt. A distinguished public servant who did many great things, this menorah and the hundreds and thousands of permits that were issued around the world as a result of it are a result of that effort. I'd like to call to the podium my father, Rabbi Abraham Shem Tov, who is our national director and the international executive chairman of the Chabad Lubavitch movement. He collaborated with Mr. Eisenstadt back then and has been to every lighting of the menorah since. And if you could please give your respect and a moment to Rabbi Abraham Shem Tov, who will bring us Hanukkah greetings.
choice, either to give you two something to sit on or for me to stand on. So I choose to be here and let you see what you are. It's indeed a special moment for me and something I've shared over the years with Mr. Eisenstadt. We're here to mark the celebrating the holiday of Hanukkah. Along with me, there are thousands of my colleagues, similar positions throughout the world now, lighting their menorahs and celebrating, ushering in the holiday. And of course, you begin to wonder, we know something about that which occurred over 2,000 years ago, which was the basis for this holiday. Do we at the same time perhaps stop and think of something that is occurring 2,000 years, 2,100 years later, before our eyes? The miracle of the activities of the emissaries of the Rebbe throughout the world. On the Hanukkah, we celebrate a moment in which the priest, upon entering the temple, kindling the candelabra, the menorah, realized that he has just enough oil to fuel for one night. And it will take another 6 days before new, proper, clean oil can be prepared to overcome. So he chose to light the menorah, and the miracle was, as it is known, that even though there was enough oil to last for one night, it ended up lasting for 7 nights. And that is the reason why we are celebrating it in a similar manner, lighting the menorah for 8 days. But perhaps prior to that miracle, which was evident at the end of the night, was preceded by another miracle. And how is it that the Cohen, the priest, dared to take just enough oil and spend it in one night without providing for the 6 days that will follow? Except that when he entered the temple, he entered with a full recognition that whatever he is told to do, he is given the capacity and the ability to carry it through. Whether it appears or doesn't appear, that didn't matter to him. This is the basis and the answer for the miracle in our times of the thousands of my colleagues throughout the world who went on the mission, ordered and inspired by the great Matisyo of our time, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And currently now, in the recent 40-some years, we took the menorah into the outside. Basically, we did not. We took the entire home and made it available to wandering Jews around the world so that they will find the ability to walk into a home for a Shabbos, for a Yom Tov, for a holiday of any kind. To give them the opportunity to rekindle and activate the spark of Yiddishkeit that lasted throughout these generations. And this is the time when we thank Hashem Yisborach, God, for the miracle then and for the miracle in our times. A happy Hanukkah to all of you, and may you be blessed with everything, the Gashmis Baruchnis, and that we should all approach the moment of the ultimate purpose and goal, which is the Geula Shlema through Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Korev Mamash.
Thank you very, very much. I know we're all freezing here. We're going to get through the program. We're about 3/4 of the way through. I know that if you look behind me, you see one candle is higher than the others. And the reason is that's the utility candle. That's the candle that's there, so if we should ever use the light of the menorah, which is forbidden because they are holy lamps, we would consider the use to be the one coming from the main lamp, the utility lamp, the auxiliary lamp known as the shamash. That shamash in our lives are the public servants, those who take the time from whatever they were doing and serve the general public. We have with us a representative from the administration, but I wanted to recognize as well, in addition to the one who I'm about to call up, we have Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Michael Shulkin is on the way. We have the Honorable David Malpass, Undersecretary of the Treasury, was here. We had former Secretary Dan Glickman, former Secretary of Agriculture, who actually also lit the menorah 1 year during a few administrations ago, and joined us tonight. We also have former Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Debbie Troy, who's with us. And our speaker this evening, who is going to represent the administration, the Honorable David Cohn, who's the Chief Economic Advisor to the President, very appropriate, I guess, for Hanukkah Gel. But he comes from a great distinguished career in the world of finance and is now one of those leading the booming economy of our great nation. So I'd like to welcome without further ado and thank him once again for leaving the warm confines of his office and on his way to the warm confines of his home. Please put your hands together for Gary Cohn, who braved this weather to be with us on behalf of the administration.
It's an honor for me to be here with all of you tonight for the lighting of the National Menorah. A special thanks to Rabbi Shem Tov and the Chabad for organizing this important event, as they have now done for 39 years. While we typically refer to Hanukkah as the Festival of Lights, I would like to speak of the meaning of the word Hanukkah itself. Hanukkah translates as dedication. And as the word not only captures the spirit of this holiday, it also captures the spirit of this country. Dedication in the story of Hanukkah is the strength that a small number of Maccabees found within themselves to rise up against a large number at long odds. Dedication in our country's story is the courage of the colonists to declare their independence from a king across the seas who governed without representation or consent. Dedication in the story of Hanukkah is the will of a people to worship according to the faith of their ancestors. We're all having problems. I'm causing a chain reaction up here. Dedication in our country's story is the commitment to timeless ideals that have been a light to the world for more than 200 years. Dedication in the story of Hanukkah is the reminder of the hope required to keep the light burning and recall the miracle of a light which burned for 8 days with only a day's worth of oil. Dedication in our country's story is the answer to the call to serve our nation. I am thinking of the members of the armed services who are overseas risking their lives to keep us all safe. While we gather tonight in Washington, we must remember another city that made the news last week. President Trump delivered on a promise to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. For millennia, Jerusalem, the holy city, has held a special place in the hearts of the Jewish people. The president made the right decision, and it makes this year's celebration of Hanukkah particularly meaningful. On behalf of the President, the First Lady, and the administration, I wish you all a very happy Hanukkah.
Thank you very, very much, Director Cohn. As you can see, the wind is trying to blow, but we are like those military lighters that can light no matter what kind of wind, and we're going to make it through right till the end of this ceremony. But not before we thank the people who made it possible. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me, and I'll tell you how the ceremony proceeds to its conclusion. What we're going to do next is actually light the menorah. And after we light the menorah, I ask that everyone who should be standing for the lighting, remain in place as we play two very important songs. One is Oseh Shalom, and the other is God Bless America. Oseh Shalom is a song that reminds us of peace and asks that he who makes peace in his heights should make peace upon us, upon all of Israel, and we say Amen. Obviously, Israel is on our mind as Jerusalem, the heart of every Jew, was declared by our president this past week, to be recognized as the capital of Israel according to America's foreign policy. That is a very, very major historic point. And as we celebrate Hanukkah, I felt that we must acknowledge that, because the psalmist, King David, writes that if I shall forget thee, O Jerusalem, may my right hand lose its ability. My tongue shall stick to my palate of my mouth if I will not remember you, if I don't record you above my greatest joy. And we know that at a Jewish wedding, one of the last things that is done, or perhaps the last thing, is the groom usually breaks a glass to remember that as joyous as we may ever be, we are completely joyous when Jerusalem is at peace and complete, when there is peace that reigns in our Holy Land, when there is peace that reigns in the region of our Holy Land, and hopefully throughout the world. So when the band will play Oseh Shalom after Ma'oz Tzur in a few moments, please have a special prayer for the peace of Jerusalem and for the peace of the world. And when the band plays God Bless America, bear in mind that we are lucky to live as Jews as we have never been able to live before in history, with full rights as citizens. Please remember the men and women of the armed forces who are serving stateside and abroad. You may not see them every day, but remember them every moment, because it is due to what they do there that we're able to do what we do here. So what we're going to do is thank those who made this possible. We're going to proceed to light the menorah. After Ma'oz Tzur, I please ask that you stand in place until Oseh Shalom and God Bless America are concluded. We'll have one final announcement, and then we'll have some hot latkes and donuts for everyone. So to thank those who sponsored us, the Adelson Family Foundation. I want to make a special mention of Louis and Minette Mayberg and the Mayberg Family Foundation, who sponsored not only this menorah, but so many of the activities that many of you come to benefit from and enjoy and support throughout the year by American Friends of Lubavitch. As a matter of fact, Louis and Minette, I believe, are still here. Would you mind please standing and being recognized? Louis and Minette were sitting here, and then Minette gave her seat up for Director Cohn. I just wanted you to know why they were on each side here. Bill Knapp and Jeannie Milbauer, Mark Penn and Nancy Jacobson, Howard and Debbie Jonas and their family, Larry Mizell and his family, Elliot Brody and Robin Brody and their family, the Sampson family, Greg and Marty Rosenbaum, the Elstein family, the Javits family, and I think we also have to thank the United States Park Service, the United States Park Police, because this has really been the smoothest running event we've ever had, weather excluded. All the preparations went as smooth as possible. The United States Secret Service, the A-Team, AF Productions, and of course Main Attractions, who pulled through and did a great job for us. I also want to turn around and thank the press, who are standing there at the back reporting this so that all the world can see the freedom of religion, the freedom of the expression of our strong Jewish identity, which is made possible here on America's front lawn. And last but not least, I want to thank our own team, led by my dear wife, Nechama, who has made this event possible. And of course, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson of blessed memory, who sent us here and who envisioned all of this happening around the world when everyone thought it was impossible. So we're going to go ahead and light the menorah if the lift is in place, and we ask everyone to please rise. After it's over, please stay in your places. Thank you.
Efeyonu, Vekiyemonu, Veigiyonu, Yizman Hazeh.
wonderful. Let me tell you, windproof menorah lights are nothing compared to what the Maccabees had to struggle through. Please pay your attention to the three candors and the United States Air Force Band for Oseh Shalom and God Bless America. Thank you for your patience. Gentlemen, just before we conclude with God Bless America, just 2 points. One, Secretary Shulkin just arrived, so even though he wasn't up with us in the lift there, we appreciate the effort for you being here with our family. And the last thank you of the night before the finale of God Bless America. Round of applause for Rabbi Menachem Shem Tov for pulling this all together. Everyone, I want to wish you a happy Hanukkah. Latkes and donuts at the front right corner, and please have a safe drive home. Boy, is it windy.
Great job.
Thank you. Secretary Shulkin, thanks for coming and being with us. Director Cohn.